Hi guys, welcome to a brand new episode of PSLE Math Secrets Review. In today's episode, we are going to go cycling as to where the destination is. You got to stay with me all the way till the end in order to find out the answer. So without further ado, let us do our annotations together. Josh and Ken started cycling from the same place, in opposite direction, along a straight road. Josh was cycling at 20 km per hour and the two boys were 50 km apart after cycling for 90 minutes. So part A states, how far did Josh cycle? And as for part B, we need to circle the words that describe Josh and Ken's cycling speed correctly in the following statement. Ken was cycling slower than, as fast as, or faster than Josh. So for a question like this, actually very simple. We just need to draw this very special, I would call it the speed diagram. So this brown colored line indicates the point where they started cycling from the same place. So blue color arrow for Josh. As of now, we do not know who cycled further. It is fine. So we just estimate and assume that maybe this Ken cycled slower. Alright, so blue arrow for Josh, and it stated that his speed was 20 kilometers per hour. So I will indicate that in my diagram. As for Ken, K for Ken, and we do not know his speed. So it's also mentioned that the two boys were 50 kilometers apart. So the very first thing that I will need to do is to address the 90 minutes. Alright, that was, as in that's the duration cycled by the two boys. So given that speed either comes in kilometers per hour or meters per minute, so in this case I can't be using 90 minutes while solving the question. I have to convert 90 minutes into hour, since the speed that's given to us is based on kilometers per hour. So how can we change 90 minutes into hour? So 90 minutes, alright, is actually 90 out of 60 hour. So if this is a paper 2 question, I can just key that into the calculator and it will do the job for us. But however, this is actually paper 1, booklet B. So calculators are not allowed, but no worries, I can easily cancel the numbers for the numerator and the denominator in order to get 3 out of 2. Okay, so 3 out of 2 of an hour is basically 90 minutes. I can also choose to use 1.5 hours, but because I know that I'll be using some form of cancellation later, I will stick to 3 out of 2 of an hour. But if you would like to know or convert 3 out of 2 of an hour, is actually 1.5 hours. So the very next thing that I need to do is to draw this very simple diagram. I will call this the DST triangle. Alright, so DST triangle works like this. Just need to draw a simple triangle, and I will place the distance on top, followed by S for speed, T for time. So distance is what we are trying to find. It has to be our question mark. S is our speed, and in this case it is 20 km per hour. I can just indicate 20. As for the time, I can just put 3 out of 2. So let's be mindful not to use 90, as in 90 minutes, because as mentioned earlier, the speed that's given to us is actually in terms of kilometers per hour. So how can I find my answer? So the distance traveled by Josh, okay, distance is actually speed times time. In this very case, is actually 20 multiplied by 3 out of 2. So given that this is paper 1, cancellation is what we need to do in order to get the answer. So how to cancel? 2 divided by 2 is 1, 20 divided by 2 is 10, and 10 times 3 will give us 30. So this means that Josh actually cycled 30 kilometers. So indeed we have found the part A of our answer. But in order for us to be able to solve the question, we have to calculate the distance covered by Ken as well. Okay, so Josh cycled for 30 kilometers. What about Ken? Okay, it's very easy. So for Ken, it's just one step. Alright, it will just be one step. So what do I mean by one step? Given that the total distance covered by the two boys is actually 50 kilometers, Ken's distance would just simply be 50 subtract away 30 that was covered by Josh. And this leads us to 20. So this means that Ken actually traveled 20 kilometers. And as for this Josh, he traveled 30 kilometers. So now we have to ask ourselves this question. Circle the words that describe Josh and Ken's cycling speed. Okay? So Ken was cycling slower than, as fast as, or faster than Josh. So think about this. Within the same time frame of 90 minutes, Josh actually covered 30 kilometers and Ken only covered 20 kilometers. So given that, based on logic, it said that Josh traveled further than Ken, Josh must have traveled faster. And if Josh traveled faster, this will mean that Ken must be cycling slower than Josh. So I will circle slower than. That has to be our answer. So if you like to double check, triple check our answer, no problem. We just need to find the speed for Ken. So once again, we will draw the speed triangle, the DST triangle. So D, S, and T. So speed is what we are trying to find. That's our question mark. And since we are trying to find, this speed, right? And the time has got to be 3 out of 2, 90 minutes, 3 out of 2 of an hour. And distance covered by this Ken is only 20. So how can we get the answer for speed? So formula for speed, just cover S within the diagram itself. So S equals to D out of T equals to 20 divided by 3 out of 2. So the children in Singapore, they actually learn this, whole number divided by fractions in primary 6. So they either learn the KCF, KFC, it doesn't matter, okay? So let's say they are using KCF, keep, change, flip. So K, keep the left side, okay? Let me just write at the proper place. So they keep the 20. Then, C, they change the division sign to multiply. And F for flip. So they're going to flip the 3 out of 2 into 2 out of 3. And this gets us to 40 out of 3. And if we were to do our long division, 40 out of 3, I know it has to be 13 and 1/3. Okay, 13 and 1/3. Because simple mental sum, 3 times 13 will give us 39, plus 1, I will get 40. So as we can see, the speed for Ken is actually 13 and 1/3 kilometers per hour. Okay? So going by that, we know that definitely Josh faster, Ken slower. So Ken was cycling slower than Josh. If let's say Josh traveled 30 kilometers within 90 minutes, within 1.5 hours, and Ken also traveled 30 kilometers. So this will mean that Ken was cycling as fast as Josh. But if let's say Josh traveled 30 kilometers and Ken happens to travel 40 kilometers, then this will mean that indeed Ken will be faster than Josh. But however, the answer that we're looking out for is actually slower than. Guys, if you enjoyed today's video or if you got anything out of it whatsoever, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button. Also comment below, let us know where you guys are tuning from. That's always good to know. And finally, if you are new to this channel and you haven't already, remember, hit the subscribe, hit the notifications button. That's the little bell sign, by the way. Because this year we are committed to making weekly videos to hold you accountable and to make this your best year in mathematics. But for now, this is Teacher Ray cycling off. Okay, bye bye.